Canto 1, Chapter 7. The son of Drona punished. Sri Shaunaka Rishi, who was the leader of the sages of Naimisharanya, he asked from Suta Goswami, what happened after Narada's departure? What did Vyasadeva do? Suta Goswami replied that Vyasadeva, he went to the western bank of the Saraswati river, and there near his cottage he sat down to meditate after touching water for purification. He fixed his mind in Bhakti Yoga, and he saw the Lord along with his external energy, which was fully under control. Vyasadeva saw the Supreme Lord and the Lord's illusory potency in his meditation. Then he saw the suffering of the conditioned souls and the cause of their suffering. They are being illusioned by the external energy. The sufferings of the living entity he could understand could only be mitigated by Bhakti Yoga, but people, however, did not know this. Therefore, Vyasadeva compiled the glorious Srimad Bhagavatam. By giving oral reception to the Bhagavatam, the feeling of bhakti sprouts up and extinguishes all lamentation, illusion and fear in the human beings. Vyasadeva taught the Srimad Bhagavatam to his self-realized son Shukadeva Goswami. Then Shaunaka asked, Shukadeva Goswami was already on the path of self-realization. He was indifferent to everything and he was a self-satisfied sage. He was Atmarama Muni. Why then did he take the trouble to study the Srimad Bhagavatam? At that time, Suta Goswami said, even liberated souls, Atmarama Munis and Nirgranthas are attracted to the transcendental qualities of Lord Hari, and they desire to render unalloyed devotional service unto him. Atmaramascha munayo nirgranta api urukrame kurvanti ahaitkuttikim bhaktim ittam bhuta guno harihi. Shukadeva Goswami is transcendently powerful and he is also very dear to the Lord's devotees. So becoming absorbed in the qualities of Lord Krishna, he studied the Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, in chapter 4 of the first canto, we saw the 3 questions were asked. The 3 questions asked were, first of all, the question about the history of the Srimad Bhagavatam was asked. Second, questions on Shukadeva Goswami was asked. And third, questions on Parikshit was asked. So, all this while, we saw the answer to the history of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, Suta Goswami desired to speak about Parikshit Maharaj. So, Suta Goswami said, I will now narrate about Lord Krishna, the birth and deliverance of Maharaj Parikshit and the renunciation of the Pandavas. He said, at the end of the Kurukshetra war, Ashwathama, he killed the 5 sleeping sons of Draupadi just to please Duryodhan, who was lying with his thighs broken. Duryodhan, however, when he learnt about this heinous act of Ashwathama, he was not happy. In fact, he disapproved Ashwathama's act and he was not at all pleased. Draupadi, when she learned that her children were all dead, she cried in distress with tears in her eyes, and Arjuna, to pacify her, he told that after beheading that Brahmana, I will wipe out your tears, and then after burning your sons' bodies, you can take your bath standing on his head. So, guided by Krishna as his charioteer, Arjuna, he equipped himself with armor and weapons and he set out to chase Ashwathama. Seeing this Arjuna coming at him with great speed, Ashwathama started running away in fear. At one point, Ashwathama was exhausted and he did not know what to do. So he decided to release the ultimate weapon, the Brahmastra. However, Ashwathama did not know how to retract it. Then a glaring light spread in all directions from the Brahmastra. Seeing his life in danger, Arjuna addressed to Krishna. He called out to Krishna. He said, "O Krishna, you are our ultimate shelter. You are transcendental. You are the original person. You are transcendently to material nature. You are the master of the spiritual energy. You are merciful to all your devotees. You descend to remove the burden of the world. You come to benefit your friends. I do not understand the reason and source of the spreading dangerous effulgence." So when he called out to Krishna like that, Krishna told him the cause. He said, it is in fact Ashwatthama who has released a Brahmastra out of fear for his life, and Ashwatthama has no idea how to retract it. And then Krishna told him, the only solution to this is that you should release another Brahmastra that counteracts this Brahmastra. So, hearing this, Arjuna circumambulated Krishna and he cast his Brahmastra. A great circle of fire covered the outer space and the planets when these two Brahmastras met, and everyone in the three worlds was scorched by the combined heat. Understanding the will of Krishna, Arjuna at once retracted both the Brahmastras to protect the world from destruction. Now Arjuna was very, very angry. He arrested Ashwatthama with ropes like an animal, and he wanted to take him back to the military camp. At that time, Krishna, he told in a very angry mood, he told, "Oh Arjuna, you should not show any mercy on this Brahma Bandhu, because he killed innocent boys in their sleep. A cruel and wretched person who maintains his existence at the cost of others deserves to be killed for his own well-being. You have promised Draupadi that you will bring his head. He is a murderer of your family. He has in fact even dissatisfied his own master. Even Duryodhan was not happy with what he did." So like this, Krishna, he was actually testing Arjuna in dharma. He was seeing what would Arjuna's reaction be at that time. So in spite of Krishna's encouragement, Arjuna, he didn't like the idea of killing Ashwatthama. Arjuna, he reached the military camp and he entrusted Ashwatthama to Draupadi. And he told Draupadi, now you tell me what we should do with this Ashwatthama. So at that time, Draupadi, because of her mild and gentle nature as a woman, she showed him all due respects because he was a Brahmana. Due to her well-behaved female nature, she told, release him, he's a Brahmana. He's the son of our spiritual master. By Dronacharya's mercy, you learnt all the military arts. Drona is represented by his son Ashwatthama and Kripi. Ashwatthama's mother is still living. It's not good to cause pain to people who are to be respected. So don't make Kripi cry like me. If we offend the Brahminical order, then our entire royal lineage will be affected. Then there was an argument. There was some people were agreeing and others were disagreeing with Draupadi's judgment. Maharaj Yudhishthir, who was there, he stepped forward and he supported the arguments of Draupadi. Nakula, Sahadev, Satyaki, Arjun, Krishna, the ladies and all of them unanimously agreed with Yudhishthir once Yudhishthir began to speak. But then Bhima was very, very angry and he disagreed with all of them and he recommended killing the culprit. So, hearing the words of Bhima and Draupadi, Lord Krishna, who's Chaturbhuja, he looked at Arjuna and he decided to speak. Now, why is Krishna addressed as Chaturbhuja here? It is because we see that Bhima was ready to kill Ashwatthama and Draupadi was wanting to save him. So, in order to prevent both of them, Lord Krishna manifested another two arms to separate both of them, and hence he is called as Chaturbhuja in this context. So Krishna said, a Brahma Bandhu is not to be killed, but if he is an aggressor, he must be killed. So fulfill your promise to Draupadi. At the same time, you satisfy Bhima and satisfy me also. When Arjuna heard this contradictory order from Lord Sri Krishna, he severed with his sword both the hair and the jewel from the head of Ashwatthama. So he took the right decision. He punished him, but he only severed his hair and he took away the jewel from the head of Ashwatthama. Having lost his bodily lustre because he did Balahatya, he killed children, and having lost his strength because he lost his jewel, Ashwatthama was bound and then, he was unbound and then he was driven out of the camp. He had lost all his strength, he had lost all his lustre, and then he was released and he was driven out of the camp. The prescribed punishments for a Brahma Bandhu is that we don't kill him, but rather the prescribed punishments are cutting his hair, depriving him of his wealth, and driving him from his residence. So this is exactly what Arjuna did once he heard this order from Krishna. Thereafter the Pandavas and Draupadi, they were overwhelmed with grief and they performed proper rituals for their dead relatives. With this chapter ends. Hare Krishna.